Let's talk Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, you've probably seen a ton of reviews that are spoiler free, but I can't get into the problems I had with this film without talking about spoilers, so you've been warned. Walking out of the theater, I had really mixed feelings. This movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and oh boy does it feel that long. Right off the bat, I hate how they handled the passing of T'Challa. I think it was lazy and lacked any depth or emotional weight. Once we hear about this mystery illness that Shuri apparently couldn't have done anything about, we just cut to the funeral. Now, don't get me wrong, this whole scene was beautifully shot, but it just wasn't sad at all. I was expecting to shed a tear during this, but I just didn't. You know what parts actually started getting me teary-eyed? The Marvel intro where we saw a bunch of clips of Chadwick Boseman. That part actually started getting me choked up, but then when they cut away and then it just lost all of its effect. And also the ending where Shuri is by the fire and then we cut to a bunch of clips of Chadwick as Black Panther. That scene also started getting me a little emotional. What I think should have happened is Namor attacks a Wakandan boat that is trying to recover some vibranium from the sea, with T'Challa and Nakia on board. Since this is their first encounter, T'Challa doesn't realize how strong Namor is, but he battles on anyway, with Nakia trying to help. Black Panther gets attacked by Namor's spear, badly damaging his armor. He then has to sacrifice his life to save Nakia and his people. This scene to me would have been so emotional right off the bat if they started the movie with this. This would have made me a lot more invested into the storyline of not liking Namor and what is going on, and would also explain why Nakia left Wakanda. This movie should have been called Black Panther Exposition Forever, because oh boy do they talk so much in this and monologue like crazy. The second act drags so much for me. They could have trimmed a lot from this. Angela Bassett as the Queen does a good job as always, and her scenes are powerful. But Shuri seemed not as emotional about the whole situation throughout the whole film. She does have her moments, but they seem kind of forced. It's always nice to see Ross again, but his scenes with Valentina were kind of just pointless because they didn't lead to anything in this movie. Not even an end credit scene. Riri was fun, but she didn't get much character development in this. She also has no tie-ins at all, to my knowledge, to Tony Stark. In the comics, she reverse engineers an old Iron Man armor, but in this, nope. Also, after the super long monologue scene with Shuri while she's creating the harp-shaped herb and Riri's making her armor, once we get to see the new Ironheart armor, it's really not that impressive. Which brings me to my next problem. So we get a badass fight scene with Okoye where she fights 3 of the Talokan members and she handles them pretty easily. Then she fights Atuma and gets beat up pretty badly. And then later Shuri gives her and Nneka the new suits of armor that's supposed to make them stronger, yet they couldn't even handle the Talokan members with the help of the new Ironheart armor. Like, they even get outnumbered and beat when they're the ones that set the trap for them, and their ship doesn't really affect the Talokans at all. Also, M'Baku is hella sidelined in this movie. I wanted a lot more from him. Shuri going to Talokan took way too long in my opinion. The beautiful Lupita does great in this as always, but she's kind of just reduced to a spy that saves Shuri and is the real reason why Wakanda gets attacked in the first place. It also takes almost the whole movie for Shuri to finally get in her Black Panther armor, and sure, it looks really cool, but she really doesn't do much with it. Like, she fights alongside the boat, which really reminded me of the G.I. Joe scene where they're fighting along the cliffside, and then she has to trap Namor and suck all the water out of him because she knows if she fought him on an even playing field that she would get dog walked by Namor. Even then, he still puts up a really good fight, and it doesn't really give her a time to shine while in the suit. Also, the music wasn't as good as the first one. There is a few CGI parts that are a little meh. Now, I know that's a lot of negatives. Now for some of the positives. Firstly, the movie has really great cinematography in this, and the costume design in this is beautiful. They're very vibrant and really nice to look at. Namor was really cool in this. I like how he bunny hops around in the air and how strong he is, and he just demolishes the Wakanda army. It was super cool to watch. Okoye was one of my favorites in this. She's really badass. The action, little that there was enjoyable. There was a few good jokes in this that I laughed at. I like the origin story of Namor, and I was kind of siding with some of his reasonings. I think if they tightened up the script more and trimmed some of the fat, and they had a better send-off to T'Challa, this movie would have been a lot better. I just don't think it was a good tribute to Chadwick, but that's just me. This film wasn't bad, it just has a lot of stuff that I just didn't like. It still was a pretty enjoyable film though. This is why I give Black Panther: Wakanda Forever a 7.5 out of 10. If you guys like this review, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more, hit that follow button. And as always, thanks for watching.